What is up, guys? Top tier Yu-Gi-Oh here, and today I want to give you guys an updated Sky Striker deck profile as well as have a general discussion about the deck because I want to start uploading more on this channel again, but I've been one-tricking Sky Strikers for like 6 months, and so this is like all I got. I've got a lot to say about the deck, and I want to hear what you all think as well. And so in this video, I want to talk about some of the more controversial main deck choices, like how many roses to play, Area 0, multi-role, Pot of Desires, that's a hot topic right now. Give you some updates to the main deck that I've made, that I played in my, like updates from the YCS list that I played in this most recent regional last weekend in South Carolina. I want to have a theory discussion actually. It's been a while since I talked theory on the channel, but I've got something that I've been thinking about for a while, and it's particularly relevant for Sky Strikers, and so I think it kind of makes sense to just kind of toss it in here. I don't have a ton of time to give it its own separate video, but it'll make a lot of sense here. I want to talk about some side decking, of course, and then give you guys a tournament report because I did go to a regional with this list last weekend. I did pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the results. I think I played well. I think the deck performed well, but unfortunately the results didn't line up. But we're gonna get into that when we get to it. So let's just go ahead and get into the list. I'll talk about the updates as we get to it. We're gonna, obviously you guys see the hamp here. That's a big change. Definitely needed that. Would have been nice at the YCS, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, it's here now, but let's get into the list. Yeah. We'll start with the Sky Striker starters. We've got 3 copies of Engage, then Linkage, Hornet Drones, Rhoda, 3 Ray, 1 Roze, and Area 0. Area 0 is not standard, but this is your standard 12 Sky Striker starters. Definitely these 9, and these are the lesser good ones. Roze is, okay, we gotta talk about Roze, everybody, because there are a lot of people playing 1 Roze, there are people playing 2 Roze, and personally, I think 1 Roze is the way to go. The main argument for playing 2 is, the main argument that I hear, at least for playing 2, is that it makes your desires a lot less risky if you're playing Pot of Desires. I think 1 copy is correct because it's generally a weak starter. It only gets to 0 in the end phase. So all of your other starters, they allow you to summon 0 in the main phase, which means 0 can search Engage it, and then you can play with the Engage. Versus Roze, the only way to get to 0 if you only have Roze is to like normal summon it, make Shizuku, then end phase Shizuku search Linkage, and then Linkage into the 0. So yes, you're getting the 0, but it's the end phase, so you can't really play much with the 0. So it's a weak starter, and I'll give Roze even more credit than most people give it. It's somewhat of an extender. It's a bad extender. It doesn't make your plays any better. Like Ray plus Roze doesn't get you an extra Widow Anchor or something on your inboard. It doesn't really add much to it. However, it can help insulate your plays. So you can well, I had like a brain fart for a second. It's like 1 in the morning. I'm so tired, but this is gonna be a really informal video. But you can use Roze to chain block some of your summon trigger effects. So like 0 triggers on summon, Kagari triggers on summon. If you have a Roze in hand, you can use their effects chain link 1, Roze chain link 2, so that your opponent can't bell your Kagari or use Ash or bell against 0. And so Roze can be useful in hand for that. I'm not saying you necessarily want to have Roze in hand for that reason specifically, but drawing it does sort of give you that option, if so to speak. It also does give you a way to make 0 without burning like a Linkage or a Raise effect. So it can be nice at times. It's something you can play with. It's not like a pure brick, but it's still not that good to draw. Oh, and the graveyard effect actually is really useful as well. There are a lot of games, especially going second breaking boards with Roze. I'll like summon something, like let's say I'll Linkage into Kagari, and then again, like I said, chain link 1 Kagari, chain link 2 Roze. Then next I I've chain blocked the Kagari, then I'll make a Zeke, and then Zeke's effect will banish something in the opponent's extra monster zone. Then I can use Roze to revive back, negate another monster on the other side of the field, then link off the Roze and Zeke into like a Azalea to pop something else, or an SP Little Knight to banish something else. So you can really start to break boards pretty, I don't want to say easily, but having Roze in hand can help you do that in situations where you otherwise couldn't, because you wouldn't have access to that secondary monster typically, because in most cases playing with one monster. So Roze is kind of nice there, right? So those are situations why Roze is, you know, not a complete brick. But I also think the downside to playing more copies of Roze is your number of normal summons. Because we already have 3 Ray, we're already gonna play Rhoda. That's never changing. But if we were to add a second copy of Roze, we'd be at 6 normal summons, and that's a bit much. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And so if you sort of break it down to like pros and cons, like playing more copies of Roze does make your desires less risky. And that's especially important if you're playing 3 copies of desires. We'll get into how many desires to play later as well. But yeah, it can help chain block some of your effects. It is another starter. Granted, it's a weak starter. I remember in Joshua Schmidt's video, that's what he said. Like, he said that he played 2 copies of Roze in 1 Limnus Gate versus 2 Limnus Gate, 1 Roze, because at least Roze is a starter. I disagree. I mean, I disagree with the conclusion, but he is correct that Roze is at least a starter compared to Limnus Gate. But the cons of playing more of them, again, it's a weak starter, it's a weak extender, it's a normal summon, and it's just not very good in your hand. Like, the opportunity cost of drawing it versus any other card in your deck is quite high. And again, my filter for every single card in this deck is something that I want to either search with Engage or something I'm going to draw off Engage. I want to search it, or I want it to be something I'd be happy to draw. In some situations, like obviously you're not going to be happy to draw everything all the time, but you want them to be good most of the time, because Sky Striker is a relatively low ceiling deck. So you need all of your cards to be playable and valuable. You cannot afford to have dead cards or even just like low value cards in hand in a lot of cases. Like, you need your cards to be playable and strong. So that's sort of how I think about everything in this deck. But I've also got some numbers for you guys. I did the math, and with 1 copy of Roze, your odds to draw it to 1 of 13%, right? The odds of you banishing your 1 copy of Roze off of Pot of Desires, assuming that like you have 35 cards left in your deck, you have a 40 card main deck, you draw 5, and off the rip you activate Pot of Desires, the odds of banishing your 1 Roze, it's a little bit under 30%. It's like 28.5% or something like that. So honestly, with 1 Roze, the odds aren't bad. Like 70% chance you're gonna be completely fine, which is, I'm happy taking that risk. I'm fine with that. And like I said in the other deck profile, even if you do banish Roze, it's okay, because there are a lot of games that you will just straight up lose if your opponent ashes or bells zeros tribute effect. So like, if you commit your resources to making a 0 and it's your opponent's turn, and on your opponent's turn you tribute, so you've committed resources to this, and then on your opponent's turn you tribute it and they ash it, leaving you with no monsters most likely, you probably lose. So because if you banish Roze, you don't have any Rozes left in deck, you won't even be able to activate that effect anyways, which means you don't have that lose condition. And so, you know, hey, there are gonna be some games that you just don't lose because you banished Roze. I don't know how to really quantify that, but it certainly does happen. Because that's really the only situation that your opponent's gonna ash you, for example. And you can play around ash in every other scenario. Like, ash on Engage, you can multi-roll. Like, you can play around every other interaction except for Zero's tribute effect being negated. That's the one that, like, if it happens, you probably lose. But that's some numbers for 1 copy of Roze. If you're playing 2 copies of Roze, then your odds of drawing it are 24%. And once again, it's not a good draw, so you are gonna draw it more often. The odds of banishing both of your Rozes, only 8% though, so it probably won't happen. You'd be very unlucky for it to actually happen. Your odds of you drawing Roze off of Desires when you're playing 2 is 16%. And so, again, the stats get a little messy, but if you think about it, your odds of drawing Roze with 2 in deck is 24%, but if you don't draw it, but do have Desires, activate Desires, and then draw it, the odds are 16%. So you're just gonna see Roze more often with 2. You're not gonna banish it off of Desires as much, but you're gonna see it much more often. And that's, you know, take it or leave it. But that's enough talk about Roze. Roze, we're not gonna give Roze the spotlight here. The next card I want to talk about is, let's move these up here. Next thing I want to talk about is Area 0. I don't see a lot of lists playing Area Zero, and honestly for a long time I wasn't either, but I was going through some Sky Striker bulk and I saw it and I thought, what if? And so I tested it. As any rational Yu-Gi-Oh player would do, I tested it a lot. And the way I did was I would just draw 4 cards in a hand, and this would be my 5th card. And almost every single hand, it made better. Going first, going second. Well, obviously better going first, but even going second, it was a card that made hands better. And so I did the math. And your odds of Area Zero hitting a starter, and obviously you can't hit Roto, this doesn't count, but you've got your 12, or this is 11 starters, but multi-roll counts because multi-roll can send Area Zero, allowing you to get to a Ray or Roze. So there's still 12 cards that you can hit in deck, right? The odds of you not drawing any of these, like 12, it's the same 12, the math works out the same, but the odds of you not drawing one of your 12 starters, but drawing Area Zero, the odds of Area Zero hitting a starter is 73%. So more than likely, Area Zero is going to hit a starter card. Now, the odds of it hitting anything, if you include the other Sky Striker spells, so we've got, in this deck, 6 more. Can I count? 7 more. The odds of you hitting anything off of Area Zero, approximately 90%. So again, it's almost never going to whiff. Then, so we've got 90% that it hits something, 73% that it hits a starter. If you combine it with Fallen and Virtuous, MST, or Typhoon Visions, which can search MST, these 7 cards all mean that you can destroy Area Zero and then once again get to one of your starters out of the deck, your Ray or your Roze. The odds, the odds of you not drawing any of your starters, but drawing Area Zero, whiffing on the Area Zero, and also not drawing anything to destroy the Area Zero is effectively 0. It will almost never happen. And so what that means is that this is a card that is almost never dead. It will almost always make your hands better. And so because of that, I had to play. It's really good. And then the theory with it, and like game plan wise, is similar to multi-roll. And the way I've been playing this deck, I've been going first, obviously, and the ceiling of Sky Striker is obviously relatively low. The most I can really hope to do is end with like 0, Widow Anchor, Limit Escape. That's really what I'm going for, right? But that's not crazy hard to break through. But where Sky Striker sort of excels is in that the boards are sticky. Like, because you've got Ray in graveyard. If you resolve Zero's effect, you can 0, put more bodies on the board, then Ray can use that effect, and then they get rid of something, then Ray can come back. Like, there's a lot of bodies, a lot of action. It's not a lot of defense, it's not a lot of interruption. It's only 3 interruptions, but it's just a lot of things they have to get through, and it's hard to get through that and then kill you. If you add multi-roll and Area Zero on top of that, it makes your follow-up a lot better, because now you're getting a free card next turn due to the Area Zero. Due to the multi-roll, everything that you activated on your opponent's turn means that you're getting something back. So the interaction that comes up pretty often is, let's say you engage as you typically would, and you get a Widow Anchor, you set it. On your opponent's turn, the Widow Anchor that you activated means that you're getting engaged back on your next turn because of the multi-roll. So it makes your follow-up really, really good. And yes, they do get banished, but that's fine. We play multiples of everything, so. Multi-roll is really good because, again, it puts your opponent in positions to where, number one, they're gonna have a hard time killing you, but they also have to clear your continuous and field spells as well. Otherwise, the follow-up is just crazy. So these are both really, really good. Then for the Sky Striker utility cards, we've got 3 copies of Widow Anchor. My deck is all like mixed up now. 3 copies of Widow Anchor, 2 Limnus Gate, 1 Afterburners, and 1 Eagle Booster. Widow Anchors and Limnus Gate, Widow Anchors is standard, of course, but these are not so much. Afterburners, the strength of this deck is that Engage is like the ultimate problem solver. you need Engage to be able to solve every single problem in this entire deck. And going second, you want Engage to be able to out opposing boards. But the issue with Widow Anchor is that it doesn't clear a monster. It can negate them, but it doesn't remove it from your opponent's side of the field unless you have 3 spells engraved, which sometimes can be a difficult point to get to. And you want to remove that monster a little quicker, and Afterburners is a way to do that. It also can threaten back row, which is something that the deck doesn't typically do unless you're playing jamming waves. Limnus Gate, no, we'll get to that later. Eagle Booster. This is the main change that I made to the main deck, and I'm extremely happy that I made it because it is, again, it's something that you want to either draw or search. You want to have this in your hand, and it allows you to really protect your plays from your opponent's disruptions. Like, so typically, this is deep, but typically if you have Engage, 1 Engage is 3 engages in this deck. You have the Engage, like Engage itself, you have Kagari getting it back, and you have 0. Like the Engage you're getting from the zeros. Could be the same one, it could be a new one, but 1 Engage means you're resolving Engage 3 times. So again, you have Engage, Kagari's Engage, and 0's Engage. Eagle Booster protects the latter 2. Whereas if let's say your Kagari gets negated, you might not even get to 0. If 0 gets negated, you might not have as much defense as you typically had. And 0's Engage means you have more spells engraved, so you might be getting that draw as well. So it can be extremely impactful for your opponent to negate it, and Eagle Booster allows you to push those effects through. It also can be used defensively for keeping you from getting OTK'd, and again, if you have a Area 0 or a multi-roll setup, your follow-up is going to be really strong too. And so just being able to stay in the game in various scenarios, giving yourself that extra turn can make all of the difference, because a lot of other decks don't have the ability to grind as efficiently as we do, and they might run out of steam. And once they do, you can really start to take advantage. It also can be used on your opponent's monsters. That comes up too sometimes. Like you can, like I've done this against Radiant Typhoon. I've used the effect on like their Link 2, the Varun, so it can't be destroyed by battle. And I just ran my monsters into it a bunch of times. So instead of having to clear everything off of the board, you can make one of their monsters not be able to destroy by battle, and you can just kill them into it. That comes up sometimes. But yeah, really been liking the Eagle Booster. It's been a great addition to the deck. The other thing I like about it also is it is a direct counter to Dracotail Horn. And so again, you want Engage to be able to solve problems, right? And with Engage now, or sorry, with Eagle Booster, Engage now answers each Dracotail trap like directly. So if your opponent, like for Flame, you can dodge Flame with Linkage. For Sting, you can use Limnus Gate to shuffle back the targets so then they don't banish anything and they don't get the draw. And for Horn, you can protect your monster from it, so again, they don't get the draw. And so one of the ways you beat Dracotail is you keep them off of those extra draws and you just outgrind them because they will run out of resources. And with Eagle Booster in deck, Engage can now answer everything that they do. Oh, and any of the fusions. So their fusions all interact with monsters. If you Eagle Boost your monster, they can't like bounce it with Arthalion or, you know, whatever fusion thing they're trying to do. They can't Mirror Jade, banish it. Like, Eagle Booster's just been good. Really happy to be playing it. And then the last Sky Striker card to mention is Limnus Gate. So this is another card that people worry about with Desires. It is extremely important to your grind game. I personally think that 2 is the correct number because again, like I said before, I want cards that I'm going to either search or I either want to search them with Engage or draw them off of Engage. Because I'm typically trying to search for Limnus Gate and Widow Anchor to, like going first, I want to set up Limnus Gate and Widow Anchor as defense. Drawing them means that I no longer have to search them. So if I don't have to search it, it means I can search follow-up for next turn, like maybe a linkage, maybe I can bolster my board with a multi-roll, maybe I can protect my plays to make them less risky with an Eagle Booster. So drawing this card is actually really good because it lets you play with a little bit more flexibility instead of having to search for that defense or risk just getting ran over. So these are cards that I actually really want to draw, and that's why I'm comfortable playing 2 copies of it. And again, it does mitigate the Pot of Desires risk, it helps the grind game, it's really good in the Dracotail matchup because it counters Sting 1-1. And if you set it up, you can also get a plus off of it too. Because you typically, if your opponent's good with Dracotail and they know the matchup, they'll just Sting immediately. or like as soon as they can. If they're not familiar with it and they're being greedy with Sting, they'll try to use it off of like Kagari's effect. They'll try to use Sting off of Kagari's effect or Ray's effect, and they'll just try to target like your Ray and whatever Kagari is targeting. And sometimes what you can do, and again, this is dependent on your opponent, but let's say let's try to set this up. Let's not even use Ray, for example. Let's say you activate something, your opponent tries to flame it, right? And you linkage, you dodge it, and you might want to go Kagari and then add back the linkage. If you do that, they're going to Sting most likely. So what I would do instead of going into Kagari, I might go like activate my spell, linkage to dodge it. I'll go into Kaina, right? And now they're not going to do anything on the summon of a Kaina. They're like, what the hell is Kaina? Like, what does that do? So then you might link the Kaina into Hayate. And they're like, oh, he's going to go battle phase and try to do something. Oh, okay, whatever. You activate some other, let's say you activate some other spell. Like you Widow Anchor their Ghoulmel. Because they try to pop something, you just negate it, right? Whatever. They still haven't activated the Sting. This doesn't threaten Sting, so of course we're not going to activate it, right? Now you could go battle phase and do something, or you could just, right in the main phases, depending on how you want to play it, you could go into Kagari here, and now Kagari target your linkage or an engage or whatever else you're trying to do. They're going to try to chain targeting one of your monsters and whatever you're targeting with Kagari. You can chain the linkage, shuffle all 4 of them back, so now they're not getting value off of the Sting, and you're getting to bounce something else on the field. So you can kind of play around Sting in that regard with Limnus Gate, especially if they don't know you have it. If you searched it, then like they might be a little bit more aggressive, but if they don't know you had it, you might be able to just kind of outplay them like that. So that's something that comes up a lot in that matchup. Let's see, I think that's all of the Sky Striker engine. Everything's all out of order now. Like, I just wanted to yap about Sky Strikers, to be honest. Let's see, what else? Next, we've got the deck building requirements. You've already shown the visions and the MST. Then, of course, you've got the upstarts. I've seen some people talk about the new sandwich card that's coming out. I forget, sandwich something. And I'll put the card on the screen. But what it does is, I'm going off of memory here. You can activate it if you have a monster card in the graveyard, pay 200 life points, I think, and then draw a card. If it's a monster, I think, if it's a monster with a different attribute than one in your graveyard, you can draw maybe. It does something additional if it's a monster. But the main point of it, in my opinion, is that number 1, you need a monster in graveyard to activate the effect. Number 2, it just draws a card. And so it is similar to Upstart Goblin, but it needs a monster in graveyard. I think needing that monster in graveyard makes it inherently worse because it means that you already need to be able to play. Not only do you need to be able to play, but you need to be able to get a monster in the graveyard. What does that mean? It means that it isn't just like, if you start with like a Hornet Drones and where did Hornet Drones? If you start with Hornet Drone, that's a 1-up, so it's not super likely. Let's say you start with Linkage. Like Linkage doesn't put a monster in graveyard yet. It summons a monster, but you have to make another summon to put something in graveyard. So if your first summon gets interacted with, you're not able to activate your sandwich card. So yes, the sandwich card is a spell that draws you cards, and that does make it an option for Sky Strikers. I don't think that is very viable. It's not out yet, I don't think, or maybe it came out in Maze of Muertos, but this is what I've got, and then 2 copies of Pot of Desires. This is a hot take. This is a hot take for sure. Also, this isn't a deck building requirement, but it goes with the visions. This kind of goes with the next section, but I like 2 copies of Pot of Desires. I think 2 is the perfect number because you unironically do want to see it some of the time and not all of the time. Like, you want to see the first copy, but you do not want to see any copies after that. Like, I don't think you can genuinely win a game with Sky Striker. Well, you will. Sometimes you will, but most of the time, I don't think you will win a game resolving multiple Pot of Desires. And that's because this is a toolbox deck. Like, the strength of this deck is your ability to draw resources from your main deck. Like, Engage is the best card in the deck. Engage searches from the main deck. And it draws a card. That's important as well. And, like, it's it's not enough to simply resolve engage. Engage has to be able to solve whatever problem that you're facing in the moment. And when you activate Pot of Desires, especially multiple copies, which you're more likely to see and have happen when you play 3 copies of it, when you do that, you lose too many resources in your deck. And it's not about banishing your 1 copy of Roze. We've talked about that. It's not about banishing your Limnos Gate. We talked about that. It's about banishing everything else, because all of it starts to matter. Like, we think just the Roze matters. We think just the Limnos Gate matters. It all matters. You need every single card in the deck, because if you think about, oh, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry. But if you think about when Engage has its maximum value off of Engage is with 3 spells in graveyard and every Sky Striker card in deck. That is maximum Engage. Maximum power Engage is every single Sky Striker card in deck. Well, no, maybe multi-rolls on the field. So every other Sky Striker card in deck, and then Engage with 3 spells engraved. When you Desires, yes, you are more likely to see Engage, like you might draw it off of Desires, but your Desire or your Engage is going to be weaker because you have less spells in your deck. That is very important. And again, it's not just the Rozes, it's not just the Roze and the Limnos Gate. It's everything. Like, there are games where you might banish Afterburners, and now Engage can't solve that problem. Your opponent has a monster and you can't deal with it. That's an issue. Or let's say you banish 2 of your Widow Anchors. How do you set up double Widow Anchor now? You can't. Let's say you start with linkage, right? This comes up pretty often. You start with linkage, you get to 0 somehow, and you will search for a second linkage so that you have some follow-up on the next turn, right? Well, now you Desires and you banish your 3rd linkage. Now there are 0 linkages left in your deck. So when you get back to Engage, Engage is now unable to get you to an extender. And it also means it's very unlikely for you to OTK now. Like, the only way that you'd be able to do it is if you Kagari back a linkage and 0 back a linkage, and that's certainly possible, but it would be better if you could also Engage for more linkages as well. Or Engage for other cards to clear the board and then get those linkages back. So banishing anything off of the Desires matters. It's not just the 1-ofs or the 2-ofs. It's losing even that 3rd copy of a card changes how you're able to play. Like, we'll get to it later, but at the regional, there was a game that I won against Draco Tail because I triple Widow Anchored him and took 3 of his monsters, changed them to attack, and OTK'd. I couldn't have done that if I had banished 1 of them. So, Desires is good. It's really, really good, but I think it's sort of a balance of... It's a trade-off, and if we go back to just like classic Yu-Gi-Oh theory and think about the philosophy of fire, it's the idea of trading your fire for card advantage. And for many decks, advantage in tempo or king, like you get utility from your extra deck, you can make that trade-off. But for Sky Strikers, again, because our utility is from the main deck, and most of the extra deck monsters just facilitate our main deck spells, like Chaotic doesn't do anything. Like, sure, it can attack directly, but who cares? The main thing is that it sends a Sky Striker card to the graveyard. Yeah, Kagari gains attack, but the main thing is that it adds a spell from graveyard to hand. 0 adds spell cards. Shizuku moves, like, all of these do is move our spell cards around. Like, that is the strength of this deck, is our spells and our ability to use them. Pile of Desires takes away from that, and that is that's an issue. It's something that we have to balance, because again, card advantage is important, but at what cost? I think 2 is the perfect number. Yeah, I think 2 is just... You see it some of the time and not all of the time. Not for, like, again, not for dumbass reasons like drawing Desires into Desires, but it's specifically for Sky Striker, like specifically for a grindy toolbox deck like this that uses its main deck as a resource that already draws a lot of cards. I think 2 copies make sense. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Desires? Do you play 1 copy? Sometimes I'll side 1 out and I only have 1 in the deck. Do you play 2? I think that's perfect. 3 copy, that's what like Schmidt and a lot of other people were using. Or 0 copies. There are a lot of people in like the striker groups online saying they don't play it at all. What do you guys think? Definitely curious to hear some opinions on that. Wow, I didn't realize how long I'd be yapping about Sky Strikers. Let's keep going. Let's keep it moving. Let's speed things up too a little bit. Let's see. So next we've got got defense and breakers. The strength of Sky Strikers is that your defense and your breakers are basically the same cards because everything's a quick play spell, or most of them are quick play spells. Got 3 copies of Fallen the Virtuous. This card's insane. 1 MST, 3 copies of Droplets. I think Droplets is like necessary this format. Fallen the Virtuous, I really like. This is an incredible card in this deck. Just the ability to, like I mentioned earlier, destroy your own area 0 to get to a Ray or a Roze comes up a lot. It can be used offensively, defensively. It can be used to get extra spells in graveyard, just like itself, or it can put another spell that you're activating in the graveyard. So like, this comes up sometimes where you'll want to engage, like, hold on. You'll have visions, right? You'll activate visions, resolve visions, so you'll have visions and whatever you discard off visions in the graveyard. Let's say it's visions and MST, right? So you'll have 2 spells in graveyard and you'll have engage, Fallen the Virtuous in hand. You would want to activate your engage, but you only have 2 spells in grave, and what are you gonna do with Fallen the Virtuous, right? Like, there's nothing on the board. Assuming you're going first, you can't destroy anything. So how do you get that extra draw off of the engage? The way you would do it is you could activate engage and then chain Fallen the Virtuous, destroying your own engage. So chain link 1 engage, chain link 2 Fallen the Virtuous. This will resolve first, destroying the engage. Engage will still resolve, but it will resolve in the graveyard now, and it counts the number of spells at resolution. And at resolution, there are 3 spells in grave, which will allow you to search and then draw. That play comes up so often. Like, Fallen the Virtuous is incredibly important for its flexibility in general, but specifically in this deck for getting extra spells, including the other spells themselves in the graveyard. It comes up a lot. And then to wrap up the deck, the final cards are 2 copies of Thrust, Triple Tactics Talent, and Called by the Grave. So the main change that I made to the list was just cutting a copy of Thrust and then adding the copy of Ego Booster that we talked about earlier. And these cards are what I wanted to talk about. So the theory I want to talk about at least. And I want to talk about the idea of proactive cards versus reactive cards. This is something that I don't see or hear a lot of people talking about, and I think it's particularly relevant in Sky Strikers. Like, we'll often talk about, like, we don't want dead cards, right? Like cards that are just not playable. Well, it kind of ties into that because proactive cards are cards that are always playable. You can proactively activate them, right? Reactive cards are things that aren't necessarily playable unless a certain condition is met. Like, you have to react to your opponent making an action, or react to the game state, or react to something generally to be able to activate that card. Like, for example, for Triple Tactics Talent, your opponent has to activate a monster in the main phase. For Thrust, your opponent has to activate a monster at any point in the turn. And for Called by the Grave, typically in most times, you're not using it unless your opponent activates a hand trap. This is a little bit different, that it can be set and used defensively. It does have a little bit more flexibility than these, so it's a little more, it's still reactive, but it can be used a little bit differently, I'll say. But the idea of proactive and reactive cards are really important in Sky Striker particularly, because this is a deck that gets better the more you play, and thus you need to be able to play. Most decks are static. Like, if you look at Vanquish Soul, Stake Your Soul does the same thing every time, right? Rahu does the same thing every time, Rahu Draco Tail. But most of our spells, like Engage, they get bonus effects, like Engage, Widow Anchor, Afterburnals, Ego Booster. Like, a lot of our spell cards get bonus effects for the more spells we have in graveyard. Kagari, Shizuku, they both modulate effect or attack based off the number of spell cards in graveyard. So the more we play, the better the deck gets. And all of these things can really matter. Even cards like Linkage and Droplets are better when we have additional cards. Like, Linkage and Droplets don't gain additional effects for having more cards or more spells in graveyard, but they're better to play in complex game states when you have more cards that you can activate in general. So, like, if you have a Linkage, right? Let's keep these in frame. Find Linkage. If you've got Linkage and you're just activating it just straight up, like, set a card on your side of field, activate Linkage, send it to the grave to summon a monster, that's fine. It's still a starter, right? It works, it gets you to where you're trying to go, whatever. But if you have something that you can activate proactively and then chain the Linkage, so let's say you activate Upstart Goblin, chain linkage, then destroy the Upstart, summon whatever you're trying to do. Now you're still resolving the Upstart, so you're still getting your draw and you're summoning your monster. So you're having your cake and eating it too. So even the cards that don't gain bonus effects are better when you have cards that you can activate proactively. Same thing with droplets. You can activate stuff and then send it for cost for droplets. It comes up all the time. And in Sky Strikers, again, in particular, you need more proactive cards to get the most out of everything that gets a bonus effect, or things that are just better in complex game states. And let's see, the issue with, again, the reactive cards, the issue is that you can't play them of your own volition. Like the issue with Thrust, like it's so incredibly powerful going second. It can search cards like Talent, it can search your Engage. It's so good going second, but sometimes it will be dead. And for me, there have been a lot of times to be dead. Honestly, the triple tactics cards have been some of the worst, most dead cards in this entire deck. Like there's so many times where I might draw Talent, my opponent like Fuas me. I'm like, oh, oops. Guess I can't do anything. I mean, you can still play into a Fua, that's fine, but like, it sucks that you have this dead card now that you wish were something else. Or going second, you're going second against Draco Tail, right? You're going second. You think Thrust is great, but you have to play through 3 traps first. 3 traps, maybe one other, like maybe a 4th card too, like a Fallen the Virtuous or a Dragon's Mind or a Droplet or whatever. So you might be playing through 3 to 4 traps before they even activate a monster effect. You might just lose before you even get a chance to use Thrust. So you need proactive cards. And so I think we have to start looking at this similar to like normal summons. I think that similarly they're bad in multiples. You don't generally want to see them at any point in the game. Like you don't want to see a reactive card in a really simplified game state. So like if you get into a grind game where you're top decking, your opponent's top decking, you need your top decks to be like good. You don't want to top deck a Thrust. So this is something that in this deck, at least going forward, I'm going to try to keep at like 3 to 4 at max, similar to normal summons, like I said. So really, at the end of the day, you just want your cards to be playable. You want all of your cards to be playable and valuable all the time. And especially in a deck like Sky Striker where the ceiling isn't super high, so you need to optimize every single card. And also for Sky Striker specifically, this is a strong going second deck. But we don't go second with a bunch of hand traps to stop opponents. We don't go second with a bunch of breakers like a Tempai deck would either. We're not really focused 100% on offense or defense. We have a bunch of flexible cards like Widowmaker that are both offense and defense, or the Fallen the Virtuous or Droplets. There's a balance, there's an ebb and a flow to it. We don't like extend and summon a bunch of monsters or anything like that. We have to reactively extend into boards, not proactively. We don't overpower opponents. We have to sort of finesse it. And like again, it's an ebb and a flow. They got to ebb, we got to flow. Linkage again could be a starter on its own, but if instead it wastes one of your opponent's cards to also summon your monster, then you're getting maximum value out of it, and that's really when Sky Striker becomes a powerful deck. And so if we sort of break the deck down by role, we've got our same starters. We've got Engage, Linkage, Winter Drones, Ray, Roze, Rhoda, Area Zero. Not a starter, but it is a card that you can proactively play. Then you add to that your deck building requirements, which again, these are cards that you can just play. So Pot of Desires, Visions, Upstart. We've got 23 just like proactive cards that you can just activate in any scenario. If you draw it, you have the option of playing it. And your opponent may or may not react to any of them. We'll set the Upstart. Upstart's always going through. But your opponent may or may not react to any of these cards, which again gives you outplay potential. Next we have like our defense and our breakers. These, depending on the board, are playable, but they're not like 100% playable like these are. All right, so we've got 23 like straight up proactive cards. Other more flexible spots are these. Let's say Limnus Gate, Widow Anchor, Eagle Booster, Fallen the Virtuous, Droplets, MST. So 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 cards that when you're going second, these are all like pretty proactive too, because your opponent has a board, so you can always like negate something or destroy something. Like you can always activate most of these going second. And going first, they're again like solid to draw 2 because they can be defensive cards, so they're okay then as well. So not exactly proactive, but not really bad either. It's like that second tier, right? Next we have pure breakers. So these are most of these are breakers, but they're also defense as well. They play multiple roles. That makes them inherently more playable. That makes them inherently more proactive as well, because there are more situations in which you can activate them. A pure breaker like this, or Raigeki, or Jamming Waves, cards like that, they are, again, you can proactively activate them and only in certain scenarios, such as going second or if your opponent has a monster, which means they're less playable. If you were to have hand traps, they would fall into a similar category to where they're only usable in certain scenarios. They're a little bit better in that they can also be defense, like they're pure defense cards. They are good going first and second versus a breaker is only good going second. But they have a similar issue to where they don't get your plays started. And that's really the issue I'm trying to highlight. Not very eloquently, but trying to highlight. And then finally we have the reactive cards like these. Oh, and Cold Blast should probably be here because it can be a defense card as well. Again, it plays multiple roles, so it's a little bit weird to fit into a box very neatly, but it probably fits better in this category. But then we have the purely reactive cards, like the reactive extenders. Cards that are reactive but not defense as well. Just straight up react, like a reactive extender. And I really do think that we should minimize like the cards down here. Like this is here because it's so absurdly powerful and it can also be engine. But I think these I might just cut because again, they're good. They come up often, but you really do want to play as many proactive cards as possible, I think, in Sky Strikers for the reasons I've already mentioned. So these are two cards that I am thinking about cutting. What I'm considering is maybe a trap card for Thrust, because a trap card for Thrust would probably be defense, right? So like we said, it's not like up here. It's still kind of down here, but it does give Thrust more power. And that's something that I do want to optimize because Thrust is such a powerful card. And so what I'm considering is maybe playing one of these, maybe. These are sort of the options I'm thinking about. This is sort of the classic option, Black Goat Laughs, but the format is so diverse, I'm not so sure that it's possible for me as a player to be able to optimize this card. It's great, you get multiple uses out of it, you get a lot of value. It has 2 effects, but like if I were to play against a rogue deck, it would just be like just as dead, and then I might get destroyed because I have this in deck versus something that has a clear usage. So good card. I don't know if I'd be able to use it as well, or if this format is really the format for it. I think it's better in formats where the lines are a little bit more clear. Like even if you're playing against Draco Tail, right? They could go Rahu and then you chain Black Goat's Collar Thalion, but then they just make like a Gulmel and they could still make branded play. Like the decks are so flexible now that I'm not so sure this would be the right move, but it is a good option for sure. Imperm, I think, is another classic option. It's a solid enough hand trap, and it's a decent enough card to set off of a Thrust to where you wouldn't be too mad at it. My only concern with this is that it's so easy for us to get to Widow Anchor already and Droplets that there's a little bit of a redundancy in terms of targeting effect negation, and so I'm not sure I would get as much value out of this either. Songs is still effect negation, but it doesn't target, so that does make it a little bit different. It also can be used from hand, which is nice. And the downside of it doesn't really hurt us that much either. It only stops monster effects in the hand or graveyard until the end of the next turn, So if you use it on your opponent's turn, you won't be able to activate your hand or graveyard effects on your turn, but you could on their next turn, meaning that your Ray will be live again in graveyard. So I'm okay with that trade-off in a lot of cases. Especially with, this can also be good to break yummy boards because you can just like use it to stop like the tag out effects and stuff. So in some situations it could be a bit of a breaker too, similar to Imperm. Purge and Impulse, very similar cards, neither of which you want to activate from hand. I'm talking in the context of setting off of a Thrust, but there will be situations where you might choose to do it from hand. Impulse, I'm fine with sometimes. I'd rather not do it from hand, but I'd be fine if I did. The only effects that it shuts off, like, it shuts off activated effects. So Earth, Wind, Light. Kinda will still gain life points. Hayate can still attack directly. Kinda just can't stop things from attacking, and Hayate won't send. Light, however, is 0. That's kind of a big deal. We can play without 0, that's fine, but I'd rather not. Purge, on the other hand, is Dark, Water, Fire, so it stops Rei, Shizuku, and Kagari. I do not think you can play without Rei and Kagari. Playing without 0, fine. Playing without Rei and Kagari, nah, that's a problem. I think also stopping Special Summoning is a little bit better than stopping Searches, so I do think that Impulse is probably better than Purge, but Purge is an option. It's definitely an option. And finally, the wild choice I had was Torrential Tribute, because I think this is actually pretty solid going second into a board. Like, if you draw this as a 6th card, or at some point you can just set it, and your opponent's probably going to have to summon monsters again, and you can just blow up the board, and a lot of decks just can't deal with a random board wipe. So I do think that Torrential Tribute is actually not horrible. Like, I don't know, maybe it is horrible, but I think I wouldn't be too mad at it. Like, this probably won't be the one that I choose, probably won't be what I play, but I wouldn't mind Torrential some of the time. Would not mind it one bit, but that's it for the main deck, basically. Cannot believe I spent this much time talking about the main deck. No changes to the extra deck. It's all relatively standard, I would say. Let's see. 3-0, 3 Kagaris. Let's get everything in frame. Hayate, Kaina, Shizuku, 1 Zeke, 1 Azalea, Albion, Ecclesia, Typhon, SP Little Knight. Super standard extra deck. In Burst Protocol format, I have played, like, it's been 3 weeks, and every week I've played an event. I did a regional, the YCS, and then a regional, and then this week I'm doing another regional. So basically, regionals or YCS every single weekend, and every single event, every single card in the extra deck has come up. I'm extremely happy with the extra deck. I think it is actually perfect. We're getting new extra deck monsters in the legendary decks collection things or whatever. I'm not so sure we play any of them. I think the extra deck is so perfect, even with new Sky Striker extra deck monsters, we don't make any changes. Like, I'm extremely happy with the extra deck. And then finally, for the side deck, the main change is playing Hamp. Yeah, for Lunalight. Basically just Lunalight. You could say that it's also for, like, the Spell Canceller decks, but against those decks, you're not engaged searching for it. You have to depend on drawing it, like hard drawing it, and that's just not realistic. So in those matchups, you probably will just lose. So realistically, it is just for Lunalights. If you were to be afraid of K9 Crystron or the decks that are like summoning Spell Cancel or other floodgates like that, you'd want to play like 3 Lava Golems. But I don't think in a format this diverse, it's good to specifically target decks, and that's going to be a change I make to the side deck moving forward for sure, like in upcoming weeks. But like, I even think I played Hamp this week, right? I did not play Hamp at the first regional I went to. No issue, didn't play Lunalight. I didn't play Hamp at I played Lava Golem at that first regional, I think. I did not play Lava Golem or Hamp at the YCS. I played 2 Lunalights, round 1 and round 15. Boom, keeps me from topping, whatever you want to call it, topping. That's the hot debate today, this week. But not playing it then mattered, right? But again, if this is only good in Lunalight, and Lunalight's only like 1 to 2% of the top decks, is it really worth siding specifically for? Like, you just might not play it. Like, I didn't play it at the first regional I went to. I didn't play it at the regional this weekend that I went to. So I've only seen Lunalights in 1 event. So I've played, I think, like 31 official matches, right? Only 2 of them have been Lunalight. So do I really need to worry about it? I don't know. If your locals is full of Lunalight players, by all means, I think a good ratio is actually like 2 to 3 Lava Golems plus Hamp. Because if you don't draw it, you still want to be able to search it. And I played something else for Lunalights too. I was a little traumatized, so I played an extra out to Lycra Dancer that we'll get to, but I think Hamp is probably the main one, especially for playing Eagle Booster, because you can like Hamp 1, use Eagle Booster to not die, and then bounce it back to your hand with Limnus Gate, and then summon it again. it's difficult, but at least it gives you like a hope and a prayer against double Liger Dancer. But yeah, so first card in the side deck is Hamp. We've got one copy of Shark Cannon, which I have not resolved a single time over 3 events. I never want to search it. I have not found the situation where I'd like to search it over a Widow Anchor or a Limb Escape. If I played Mitsurugi, I think I would then, because then you're stopping like Murakumo coming back. Or if I played like Orchis or if I played a Fiendsmith deck that wasn't Radiant Typhoon Fiendsmith, because in that deck you're more worried about the Radiant Typhoon than Fiendsmith stuff. Like, oh, you make Caesar, woo, big deal, Widow Anchor. Like, I don't care about a Caesar or a Desert. Like, those cards don't matter. I don't care about those. So like, I'm still not getting Shark Cannon for that either. So I'm not too. I love it, but I'm not too sure it's worth playing right now either. Let me know what you guys think about that. 2 copies of Forbidden Crown. This card has been amazing. 3rd copy of Thrust. I played Feather Duster and Raigeki so that the Thrust have decent enough targets going second into boards. Like, obviously Thrust can always get Tactics or Engage. Those are always good options, but I want it to be a blowout as well in certain matchups. So being able to get like a Duster against, like, it's not, if you're playing against a Draco Tail, you're not gonna Thrust into Duster, for example. They're not gonna activate a monster effect before a trap. They're gonna use their traps first 99% of the time. And in that case, you're not searching for Duster. But if you're playing against like Radiant Typhoon, for example, they might Totem Bird first. And if that's the case, you can Duster the MSTs, the Mandate, and then maybe whatever other non-engine they have could be really good there. But most of the time I'm siding in Duster going second. I'm praying to hard draw it, because you're just not realistically going to search it with Thrust in this format. It just doesn't happen. But the Raigeki does happen. This was for Yummy decks because we saw Yummy win YCS Richmond. We've seen Yummy do really well at regionals around the world. We saw Yummy do well everywhere, right? And Raigeki is really good into Yummy decks because whatever they tag out into gets destroyed. If they summon out Snatchy or a Synchro or whatever, or the 2 bodies from the graveyard, like whatever it is, it gets destroyed, and it leaves them with not enough to do anything with afterwards. So Raigeki is really strong in that matchup, as well as just like rogue decks. Like there are some decks where Raigeki is just good. If I'm playing against K9, for example, you can just destroy the Ripper, the Saryu, like you can just destroy this stuff. And it's pretty good. Next for the traps, 3 copies of Different Dimension Ground. This is the best card in the side deck once again. I think every game I drew it, I won. 2 copies of Mutually Averted Disruption. Again, it goes to what I was saying before. I think the format is too diverse to specifically target decks. I think this is very good against Vanquish Soul, but you just might not play Vanquish Soul. I haven't played Vanquish Soul. I've played so many matches. Every single week I've done a regional YCS. I've played 0 Vanquish Soul. This card has been completely useless for me. And I'm going to take it out of my side deck, and this weekend I'm going to play Vanquish Soul. Because that's just how it goes. But I do think that, like, if we look at the format, I think Draco Tail is like 30% of the tops. And then it's like Yummy, Malice, Vanquish Soul, Radiant Typhoon that are all around 10%. So you've got 30, 10%. And then we have like 20 other decks that are like, wait, so hold on, let me do the math again. 30% Draco Tail. And then we've got Vanquish Soul, Yummy, Malice, Mitsurugi. Am I forgetting something? Radiant Typhoon, yeah. So we've got those 5 decks that are all like 10% each, right? Am I tripping? Malice, Mitsurugi, Vanquish Soul, Yummy, Radiant Typhoon, yeah, 5. So we've got 35, so that leaves 20% for like the 20 other random decks that are playable, you know? Like, all of those decks are possible. Like Lunalight might be 1%. Cool Tunes, 1%. White Forest, 1%. Branded, 1%. Like, there's so many decks. Sky Striker, 1%. Like, there's so many decks that are... We're better than the others, though. But there's so many decks that are viable that you can just play. But that also means that aside from Draco Tail, you're not going to play anything else that much. You know what I mean? And that makes targeting specific decks very difficult. And I think Mutually Averted Disruption is really good, but it's a little too targeted, so it might have to be cut. And then finally, I played 2 copies of Dominus Impulse and a Solemn Judgment, both for just generally going first. And also against some crazy decks, I have at least something going second that I could use to maybe not get full comboed. Like, I can negate the summon of a Spell Canceller. Something. But going first is actually really good. I really enjoy having this in the deck going first. There are a lot of times where I will set it off a Thrust, and then I'll end up with like Widow Anchor, Thrust, and something else. So that's really good. Judgment, I think I'm gonna cut as well, because this is a pretty grindy format. Like, nothing is super fast. Like, a lot of the decks do have OTK potential, but they can't OTK through a Sky Striker board with Ray Engrave, everything floating, Widow Anchor. Like, they're not OTKing you through that. And you end up in like grind games in a lot of cases. In those grind games, I'm not sure that any 1-for-1 trade is worth half your life points, because everything is so powerful too. Like, let's say you're playing against Draco Tail. If you're at 4,000 life points and they summon a couple Arthalions from the graveyard, you might just be dead. So, or Radiant Typhoon, they summon Ponix, shuffle 2 cards on your side of the field into the deck, and now you're staring down like your life. So I'm not sold on Judgment anymore. And again, one of the things I liked about Judgment is it kept you from getting blown out. Like, you could negate it evenly, or a Duster, or a Lightning Storm, or like you can negate these blowouts. But when I look at top list, I don't see a lot of blowouts being played, for example, going second. I see people playing more hand traps and breakers. And so if that's the case, if let's say your plays get stopped, like you get Ash Belge rolled on your turn and you're setting like, let's say Widow Anchor on a, like, let's say you're passing on Shizuku and Solemn Judgment, right? Like, the Solemn Judgment's not doing anything, and neither is that Shizuku. Like, you're dead. You lose. Versus if this were something that maybe didn't cost half of your life points, you might survive that turn because they'd have to get through Shizuku and Ray Engrave maybe. So I think the life points just matter. Like, at the regional, it came up. I was playing against a Draco Tail, and this was round... let's just go through the whole tournament report. This video is getting way too long. I'm rambling. I honestly just wanted to yap about Sky Striker. Wait, before we talk about the tournament report. Oh, I also want to show the side deck patterns. I'll do that next time. Next time I'll do side deck patterns. Because I think it's actually really important in this deck too, because this is a deck that really rewards good planning and a good game plan. You get punished very hard for bad deck building, and side decking is a part of deck building. And a poor side plan not only will cost you time, if you like, again, this is a slow grindy deck as well. You can with DK, but a lot of your matches will be slow. The time that you spend side decking is time that you won't have in games 2 and 3, and that might lead to double losses or losses in general. So you have to be fast. Like, time matters in this deck, because time just matters in general, actually, for any deck. And you have to control the time in the ways that you can. We no longer have ways to like gain life points and like cheese wins and stuff like that. You can't do that. But you have to give yourself enough time to play out those grindy games. Like, there are a lot of games that you win because your opponent either misplays after they might make 5 correct plays, but then 1 misplay and you capitalize and win. But you have to have enough time for them to make those 5 correct plays. You have to make the correct plays to counter them, and then they have to misplay. Or those games where your 8th card is engaged. You have to play enough turns to get to that 8th card. So like, the time matters, and a way that you save time, a controllable way, is to side deck faster. I've been going to events with a side plan for like a top 3 or 4 decks. Like, I know going first or going second exactly what I'm taking out and putting in. I know if I'm going first against Draco Tail, I know that Solemn Judgment, 2 Impulse, 3 DDGs, and 2 Crowns are going in every single time. I know exactly what I'm taking out as well. I know if I'm going against Radiant Typhoon, that I'm not putting in the DDGs, I'm just putting in these 5. I know if I'm going first against Vanquished Soul, I'm putting in these 5, plus the mutually assured disruptions. If I'm going second against Vanquished Soul, I know that I'm keeping in the Crowns. Even though Crown is not very good, going second is still something that's going to stop a Holosuit. It's still something that's going to stop any of the other monsters that they activate on the turn, and I can use it against Rock to lock it into place and OTK into it if it comes up. And I'm keeping the impulses in, because there are some games that you're just going to lose to a Snow Devil. You can't have that happen. So these 6 are going in, going second, plus Raigeki and the Thrust. They have a lot of monster effects, so Raigeki and Thrust can sometimes just clear it all. And you saw how fast I can just like spit out what I'm siding in and out. Also know that it's the same 8 cards. Like, the deck was built around the side deck. That was a very important thing. It's one of the ways that I save time in matches. Like, I haven't gotten a single double loss. Most of my matches, some of them get close to time, but none of them are like, you know, down to the wire. Usually it's like pretty clear at that point who's going to be winning. But a part of that is knowing, number 1, my own plays. Number 2, it's my siding. Like, that saves a lot of time. I'm not thinking like this or that and all that stuff. Like, I think it's just very important. I got totally derailed. The last thing I was gonna say is I cited a Herald of the Abyss. I don't know how I started talking about the time, but for the most recent regional, I did end up cutting Judgment for Herald of the Abyss. And this was just another card for going second against Lunalight because it gave me the option to thrust into this for it. So I could use the engages to search for Hamp, and I could use thrust to search for Herald, and that way I could out both of the Liger Dancers on the same turn if I was able to play. So it gave me an out to both of them, as well as giving me multiple outs to at least one, and then focusing on survival in that case as well. That was the plan. I can show you guys the line for it as well. I kind of went through a bunch of combos to figure out like what is the combo to have like engage into Hamp as well as like follow up as well, or survival. And obviously you're not doing it with a single engage, but like engage plus linkage, engage plus ray, like how this can work out to really get to a Hamp and then set up a like decent enough board. If you guys are interested in that, I can show you again, but again, Lunalight's like a 1% matchup and it just maybe doesn't even matter at all. But that is, or was, the side deck. Yeah, tournament report. I want to talk about this regional because like I think there's a lot of valuable interactions that I think came up in the regional. And so so this is the Greenville, South Carolina regional. I went X3, which of course sucks. Like, why am I doing X3 deck profile? And again, it's not, I don't think the deck was bad. I don't think I went X3 because of the deck. And you guys are here as I go through these rounds, if anyone's even still listening, to be honest. But this is more for me than for anybody. This is just me getting my thoughts out and kind of preparing for the next event on camera, basically. But like, yes, X3, but I started off 4-0, and from round 5 on, I don't think that, like, so I started off 4-0. There was 8 rounds, 4 more rounds left. Round 5 was really, really good, but for rounds 6, 7, and 8, I don't think I even played Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it was just not real. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Greenville, South Carolina regional is about 200 players, a little less. 8 rounds, 24 invites, and round 1 I'm playing against Radiant Typhoon Yummy. It was kind of weird. Like, my hand wasn't very good at all. I remember it was like triple Widow Anchor, Fallen the Virtuous, Thrust, and honestly I thought about scooping. I'm like, why am I wasting time watching him full combo? But it was like, let's just see so I can try to like figure out like break points and how to really interact with it, because this is a deck that I didn't test a lot against. Because honestly in my head I'm like, okay, I'm fine, the Radiant Typhoon, and I've played a lot of Yummy with this deck, so I feel pretty happy with that too. Like, I don't need to test against it, but there's still some interactions I wanted to kind of like suss out and see, like, what are they doing with Mauser? Like, how are they bridging these together? Like, is there any, you know what I mean? Like, just trying to figure it out. Making sure my opponent's playing at a good pace, but at the same time, like, this is a learning experience. And it turns out that Engage was my 6th card, so I actually ended up playing pretty decently well, but I couldn't win the game. In game 2, I go first and built like a pretty weak board, and I remember I had like 2 copies of Crown, right? Wait, Crown's here. I had 2 copies of Crown, and you know, on one hand it's like, oh man, I have 2 once per turn cards, that kind of sucks. But I was able to like crown one of his monsters on his turn, and it didn't stop him, but it was like the Crown plus the Limit Escape plus the Widow Anchor, like that's enough to stop. And then on his next turn, he still had some, like, he still had follow-up. He still had like a Synchro, he still had like Snatchy and everything else like that. I was able to crown the Snatchy, and then so he couldn't link off with it or Synchro with it or anything. So the Snatchy's just sitting there. I was able to attack into it enough to OTK. So he had a full board basically. So like when you're playing against Yummy, their Yummy disruptions don't really do anything to you. Like Lollipo doesn't do anything because you have all Link monsters. Cookie doesn't do anything because if they destroy something, you bring back Ray. Like, none of their interactions really hurt that bad. It's just they have a lot of bodies, and they just do stuff. Shurig is a bit of a problem. Who would have anchored that? But the other stuff is like, fine, whatever. So I was able, instead of having to worry about clearing the whole board, like that's really the issue, trying to clear the whole board and not having a breaker, I was able to just lock that Snatchy into place and just attack into it like Ray, Kagari, Zero, Hayat, like just deal the damage, and that was game. And then in game 3, he set up a pretty good board. I was able to like push through it a little bit, not completely. Again, we just got into like a bit of a grind game, and I remember I ended up having to pass on, oops, hit the camera. I ended up passing on like Shizuku, where is it? Like Shizuku, Linkage, on the Virtus Eagle Booster. And it was like, I had, what was it? Yeah, we linkaged the Shizuku into a 0. And then I wasn't sure if I wanted to use Zero's effects. I didn't want to get cooked by like any sort of disruption, so I ended up just like Eagle Boostering it. And then I ended up next turn being able to get to a Limnus Gate, and then I Limnus Gated like 8 cards back. So then I bounced, no, it was 10 because I bounced 3. Yeah, and then I just OTK'd. Like, it was just a big Limnus Gate play on like turn 5. So that was pretty good. That was round 1. Round 2, I played against Draco Tail. I'm looking at notes. And I didn't write anything down for games 1 and 2, but game 3, I crowned his Lucius. And then, yeah, that's what it was. He he had Nib in his deck. He Peruvia'd me, that's like fine. And then he had Nib in his deck. And, because he showed me his hand afterwards. It was like, Nib, Perugia, Kitu, wait, did I write it down? No, I guess I didn't write down his hand. But I remember, for me, it was Crown, Fallen the Virtuous. This was like the board I like ended on. Widow Anchor. 0. Yeah, it was like this, right? And he summoned the Lucius and I crowned it. So that's fine. Then he activates Key 2. I fall in the Virtuous Destroy. Oh, Linkage. That was the other card, yeah. Linkage. He activates Key 2 and I fall in the Virtuous to 0. That way the Key 2 doesn't fusion summon because I don't have any monsters. Then I think it was Rahu. And then I negate the Arthalion and then linkage it away back into another 0. And that was just game. So it was like able to stop pretty much everything. And still end up with like follow-up disruption. So that was round 2. Round 3 I played against Draco Tail, and game 3 I bricked. But I ended up with like Impulse, Crown, Called by the Grave, and Widow Anchor, I think. And so I was able to stop like the Fallen in the White with a Widow Anchor, and then Impulse something else, and like basically I just survived. And then the next turn I drew a starter, and then that was basically the game. Drew a starter, I'm able to play, then I start playing through stuff, and then boom, we're back in it. Round 4 I played Draco Tail again, and yeah, the game 1 was actually pretty cool. The game 1 was cool. This was definitely one of the cooler plays of the event. So like I said before, I'm able to play around like all of the Draco Tail traps with these 3, right? Like I'm able to play around everything. And then at that point I'm like resolving, engage, getting all these resources, and then I'd where is it? And then like after playing through the traps, he's just on monsters, and we all know Draco Tail monsters don't do anything. So then we just go Ray, and we went Ray into 0. 0 effect, destroy something else. I think it was like an unknown back row. And then summon out Ray and Roze. Then Ray and Roze into Azalea, destroyed something else. And then went battle phase, attacked into a Sanctifier Dragon, uses Azalea's on-field effect to banish a spell from the graveyard to destroy the Sanctifier Dragon. Then I triple Widow Anchored. So yeah, I triple Widow Anchored and took like Arthalion, Gulamel, and Secretarion Dragon, and then attacked direct with all those for game. So that was that was pretty cool. And then game 2, he goes first and sets like Solemn Judgment, and he solemns my normal summon of Array. Fine, that's okay. And then I end up later on making, Albion on board. I end up making a Typhon, and then I Typhon bounce something, Widow Anchor the Albion, change it to attack, and then just attack for game, because he had Solemn Judgmented, so he was down to 4,000. So that was game. So that was round 4. Then round 5, I played against Radiant Typhoon, and this was the one. This was the one match that I think changed everything. So game 1, he wins the die roll. He's going first. He full combos game 1, so he's got like Totem Bird, Mandate, 2 MSTs, 1 unknown set, and the Link 2, Radiant Typhoon Link 2. And I'm playing through the entire board, like the whole thing. And the one thing that I think I could have done differently was actually with Limnus Gate. So when you're playing against Radiant Typhoon, the trick to beating them is that Mandate. So they have Totem Bird, right? Totem Bird's something that you for sure have to worry about. But you got Widow Anchor, you got Droplets, you got Fallen Virtues, you got ways to deal or bait with the Totem Bird. But the issue is Mandate. And the things that beat Mandate lose to Totem Bird. The things that beat Totem Bird lose to Mandate. So you gotta really play it like perfectly, basically. And the trick to Mandate, though, is that Mandate has to chain directly to an MST. So if you can chain to, if you can chain to the MST, they can't chain Mandate to the MST to negate something. So you need quick plays to chain to their MSTs. And one of the quick plays that I had drawn in my hand was Limnus Gate. So I was trying to set up a Limnus Gate while playing through everything else, like while playing through the whale, playing through, that too, playing through the whale, playing through the Totem Bird, playing through everything. I'm trying to set up the Limnus Gate, but the only way that I could do so was with Ray, because Ray was like the starter I had in hand. And I should have played more, I should have just played it differently. Like instead of going like Ray Kagari, I could have like gone like Ray Shizuku Hayate Kagari instead of different monsters in graveyard. But instead, when I had to use the Limnus Gate, the only other monster I had in graveyard, the only monsters I had were Kagari and Ray. So I shuffled back Kagari and Ray, and then shuffled back 2 other spells. So I was able to like play around the Mandate, yes, but I lost Ray in graveyard because of that. And then later on in the turn, I'm still breaking his board. I Widow Anchor steal something. Widow Anchor stole, I think I was like Widow Anchor, Chain Link 1, not Afterburners, Linkage Chain Link 2. So I like stole something and then summoned kinda from the extra deck. I remember it was. So it's kinda from the extra deck, and I stole like, let's say this is like a whale. I think it was the whale that I took. Or it might have been the Phoenix. It was one of his monsters. I don't remember which one it was at this point. But what I did was I linked these into a Zeke, and then he chained Sheena and then just wiped my board. So it bounced this back, and I didn't have Ray. He got, or I guess he can get his monster back, but it just ended my turn basically, because I had no other playable cards. Like I had normal summon, I had used my linkage, and I didn't get that Ray back because I didn't put the extra body in grave for the linkage. Whereas if I had just gone, it's like Kagari and the monster, if I had, instead of doing that, or instead of using Kaina and the monster to go into the Zeke first, because the plan was to go Zeke then Kagari, I should have just gone Kagari first, and then if he Sheena'd, I'd at least would have had the add back, I would have added back the engage, and been able to keep playing. But I just sequenced it incorrectly, so the Sheena killed me. Lesson learned. I understand it now. But that was the misplay that cost me game 1. So definitely winnable, but yeah, misplay. Game 2, I just set up a really strong board, and that whole match we were being really like communicative about the time because the clock was kind of small, to be honest. And so we're both undefeated at this point. The clock is small. We do not want a double loss. That is what we do not want. And so we're both the entire match just being very clear about the time. And we even said like before match started, like, hey, let's communicate the time. If we get behind in a game and it's obvious what's gonna happen, let's just like concede and go to the next game, all right? Cool, I'm cool with that. So we're both like, you know, hey, like, not to rush you, but there's 40 minutes on the clock. Hey, just letting you know, 35 minutes on the clock. The whole match, we're really like talking each other through it, like not in a mean, rushing you kind of way, but just letting you know so that you can play at a proper pace. And we're both doing it the whole time. I think everyone should. I think that's honestly the courtesy at this point. And so that's what we're doing the entire match. We get to game 3 with about 15-20 minutes to go. Because again, we're being clear and upfront about the time that allows you to play faster when you know it. I think you waste a lot of time when you don't realize how fast it's going. But because we were talking about it, we were cognizant of it, playing at a good pace, right? And so we get to game 3 and he goes first, he makes his board. And again, we're talking through it. I'm like, hey, 25 minutes left, just letting you know. Cool. He finishes his turn, 20 minutes. We get to my turn, it's like 17, 16 minutes, whatever. And he full combos once again. He's got like Totem Bird, the Whale, Mandate, 2 MSTs, Varun, Unknown Set. And like this matchup, it's tricky because again, the things that beat Totem Bird lose to Mandate, the things that beat Mandate lose to Totem Bird. So you really have to like sequence and chain your things correctly. And it's, in a lot of cases, a singular chain that determines the entire match. And let's see, did I write what my hand was? Yeah, let's see, at least I wrote most of it down. It's like Widow Anchor, had Widow Anchor, linkage, desires, Roze, droplets. I think the other card was like an afterburners, or it might have been a thrust. No, afterburners, I think it was. And I think I like afterburner the Whale. Where's the? Yeah, I think I afterburner the. No, maybe it wasn't even afterburners. I don't know what the 6th card was. Afterburners doesn't make sense thinking back to what happened, but no, yeah, maybe it was afterburners. Yeah, I think I did afterburners target the Whale, right? And then that's like fine. Chain link to linkage. This is something they're gonna respond to. Like they're gonna try to negate it with the Totem Bird or with the Mandate, but we still have like the Widow Anchor for the Totem Bird and the droplets for the Mandate, right? So he tries to like we're going through it. I forget which he chained with first. Dang. But he chained something and I was like thinking about it, and we've got like 15 minutes left, and then the judge comes by and gives me a slow play warning. And it just totally put me on tilt, because it's like, I look at the clock and I'm like, bro, we got 15 minutes left in the game 3, and this one chain link will determine the entire match. And we're both undefeated. So it's like, this is critically important. Like, it put me so much on tilt. And I think he chained Totem Bird, and then I ended up chaining droplets, sending both of these and the Roze. And I should see, that's the thing, I should not have, because he chained the Totem Bird, I don't need to send the Roze, because now Totem Bird is like now he's already used the Totem Bird. Like he's not gonna chain with a monster. He has used his only monster. So really I should have kept the Roze in hand. That would have given me an extra normal summon if things didn't work out, or would have allowed me to chain block the Kagari, or it would have given me a few extra plays instead of this, versus if he had chained with the Mandate, if he had chained with MST, then I could chain with this and he wouldn't be able to negate it with Totem Bird, which would force everything through. So I think that's what I was thinking, but getting a slow play warning during it kind of like screwed up with like the way I was doing it. So I think he tried to negate with Totem Bird, and I just like if that happens, you just Widow Anchor it. But I just messed it up. And so afterwards, like he negated it, so the droplets got negated by Mandate, and Totem Bird ended up negating linkage. This resolved, and this is like engraved. So I end up with like basically nothing. Like I got rid of his interactions at least, but now like I don't have anything on board. He has like one unknown left, and I activate desires, and the last unknown was a purge. So that was that game. So that was round 5. So at this point I'm 4-1. Cool. Just went out. Like I won the first 4 in a row. I can win 3 in a row easily. Like, I have won 3 matches in a row many times. Not an issue. So I go into round 6, and I'm playing against Water. And game 1, I go first, win the die roll, but he double fuas me. And so I don't do much. I think I just like, I chained linkage to the first fua. I think it was like activate fua in the draw phase. Chain like, where is it? Chain vision, chain linkage, summon off, summon 0, draw 2, discard 1, and then I still ended on like 0, droplet set, and Widow Anchor set. So this was my board into what I didn't know at that point, just double fluid. So I'm okay with that. Like, he drew 1 card off of it. He's at like 5 cards, I guess, and he's on Mermail. These are not good against Mermail because a lot of the Mermail cards sit in for cost. But really what screwed me up in this match was I think I should have still won. I think I should have won the game 1. But my opponent honestly was, and I don't like to say this, I don't like to throw this term around willy-nilly, but I think my opponent was cheating. Like no personal shade to him. Maybe he just didn't know. Like, maybe he loves Mermail and just no one told him, or no one that locals knew the difference. But he was just doing plays that, like, I was like, wait, this, like, man, I didn't realize Mermail was this good. But I had a slow play warning, and I'm not super familiar with Mermail or Atlantean cards or some of the new cards. Like, there's the new Penguin, and he was playing old cards too, like Swap Frogs and Ronin Totem. Is Ronin Totem even legal? I don't know, but I don't think he played Ronin Totem, but it's definitely Swap Frog. And he was playing Ice Barrier cards. Like, it was a weird list. It had a lot of cards I wasn't super familiar with. And I already have a slow play warning. It's Sky Striker plus Mermail, which is an interesting matchup. So naturally, like, people are going to watch and judges are going to watch. I cannot afford in this situation to get another slow play warning because then I'll get a game loss. So I can't sit here and I have no hand traps, by the way. So I cannot, with obviously no hand traps to the people watching from behind me, I cannot sit here and read all of his cards. I don't know what they do, but I cannot ask him to read all of his cards knowing I cannot do anything anyways. So I have to trust his word on it. And I'm pretty sure made some illegal plays. Like, I don't remember exactly what they were because, again, I'm not super familiar with it. But I remember specifically, like, him saying that Swap Frog sends for cost to summon. It does not. There is a reason why Swap Frog is not a normal card in Mermail decks. It does not send for cost. It sends from the hand to the graveyard as a condition for the summon. Like, it summons itself by sending a water monster from your hand to the graveyard. It does not send it for the cost. It is not an activated effect. I did not know this at the time, though. I didn't realize till later. I'm thinking about the match, and I was like, damn, Swap Frog is good. How come people... I was looking at Mermail list, and I was like, man, how come nobody plays Swap Frog? And then I read it and was like, wait, that's not cost. And then later on, also during the turn, he did the additional normal summon. And he's like, yeah, this is the additional normal summon from the Swap Frog. And I was like, oh, is the additional summon just like any Aqua Sea Serpent fish? Because that's what a lot of the other Mermail cards do. They just list the blue types and give you the effect based off the blue type. The blue typings, you know, Aqua, Fish, Sea Serpent. I think there's another one, but it's like 3 of them. I think those are the 3. And he's like, yep. And he normal summoned the Pike. Later when I read Swap Frog, it additional normal summons a frog monster. You cannot additional normal summon a Abyss Pike. And, like, maybe it didn't matter. Maybe even without the illegal place, he's able to break my board because I don't have a super great board. It's just 0 droplets, Widow Anchor, and, like, no follow-up, basically. Maybe it's fine. Maybe I still lose. But in my head, I have to think that maybe I would have had a better chance. Maybe I don't get OTK'd that turn. And if that's, like, if I don't get OTK'd, maybe we get into a grind game, and I trust Striker in a grind game over Mermail any day of the week. So, I think that definitely... That slow play warning definitely got me in this match too. And so I ended up losing game 1. Game 2, I DDG'd him, and that's game. And then game 3, he goes first. And I don't draw, like, impulse, really. So I have no way of stopping him. He full combos me. He starts off with Minstrel plus Dragoon. So he looks at my hand, sees no hand trap, and pops off. He ends his combo in a Warlock of the Ice Barrier. I'll put it on screen, but Warlock of the Ice Barrier is effectively anti-spell fragrance. And I had 5 spells in hand. So I just could not do anything. And so I lost. And again, it's like, okay, so that's round 6. we go to round 7, and round 7 I play against a good friend of mine, and he's on Malice. And it goes exactly how the Malice matchup tends to go. He won the die roll, he goes first, he comboed, I couldn't break the board. I mean, it was a fun thing to play through, but it was just too much follow-up. And the hard thing about like this format, Striker is good because the interactions are interactive. It's cards like Mandate and Flame that are the negations. They're targeted negations that give you the chance to play around and outplay your opponents. Omni negates don't necessarily give you the chance. And Malice had Omni negates. Like he was playing with Terahertz and Terahertz and D-Save Worm, so it's just an Omni negate. Then you add that to Cryptor. Cryptor is another issue with the deck. This deck doesn't do as well against non-targeting, non-destruction effects, because it's like, if I have Ray on board and you activate that effect, then you either banish the Ray or you banish what I summoned before the effect can trigger. If it's 0 on board, we have the same issue. Either you banish the 0 or you banish the Ray, and the Ray can't even tag out. Like, non-targeting, non-destruction effects are difficult for us to play through. And so you have that combination of removal on top of an Omni negate, on top of the follow-up, on top of the banishing. Malice becomes a difficult matchup even without White Binder. It's not unwinnable like it used to be, because you used to have to play through like set a trap, banish 3 of your spells and Ray out of your grave. Like you have to deal with that. That's gone, but it's still a difficult matchup. And so I ended up losing that game 1. Game 2, I went first, comboed and won. And then game 3, I went second, and he had Malice combo plus Mistaken Arrest. So I can't beat that. Like I had Engage, I had like other draw cards, and we had a good hand, but it was like Mistaken Arrest just stops everything. So won the first 4, lost the next 3. Round 8, I played against Apophis. And I go first, and this is pretty cool. Had a pretty good combo, Limnisky, Eagle Booster. Felt pretty good about this. Didn't know what he was playing, and he goes straight to battle phase and attempts to evenly match me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? Why is there an evenly matched in the main deck? And so I ended up Eagle boosting the 0, and then Limniscape bounce 6, and then return these 2 to my hand. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it wasn't Droplet. Yeah, that's not what it was. It was Pollen Virtues. That's what it was, yeah. Because I definitely Eagle boosted the 0, activate Limniscape for, was it 6 or 3? It was a lot. However many I could, the maximum number, because I want to draw more engine next turn. So, Eagle boost to 0, activate the Limniscape, fall on the Virtuous to destroy the Limniscape so it goes to graveyard, and then bounce the Widow Anchor. And Fallen Virtuous doesn't matter, and it still puts Albion in graveyard anyways. So now we had 0, Widow Anchor, Albion in graveyard, the linkage is in graveyard, and I felt pretty good about that trade. Then in main phase 2, he wasn't really able to do that much. I ended up just like winning. Game 2, he did whatever that deck does and ended on a bunch of trap negations. Then game 3, he shifted me and then even lead me. But fortunately, I did basically the same exact thing. Still had 0 on board, and 0 was able to trade with Temple of the Kings, and still have like Ray and Roze, which is a little bit much. So I was able to thankfully win, but it was like the second half of the event. It was like I didn't even play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I played against Water, where I got illegal played out of contention, and then floodgated in game 3. I played against Malice, where I got mistaken arrested in game 3, and then I played against a deck that Shifter even lead me in game 3, and granted I was able to win that last one. It just did not feel very good, and it kind of goes to show how quickly a tournament can go sour. Like you can be doing really, really well in this format, and then one loss can send you, like, you can be so, like, you can test so hard against the meta, against those top like 5 or 6 decks like I was saying, and then you lose once or twice, and now you're in like that weird part of the format that you're not ready for. Like if you're undefeated, you might not play any Lunalight, but then you lose a match, and now you're playing Lunalights at the X2 tables, or stuff like that. And so that's something that I do think you gotta factor into your deck building as well. But man, yeah, things just went south crazy fast. But yeah, guys, that is basically it. I think that's everything. I don't know. My brain is like fried right now, but that's the updated list, a little bit of theory, a little bit of side decking talk, tournament report. Once again, Greenville, South Carolina Regional went 5-3 and finished 29th place. Not bad. I'm happy with how the deck performed. I think I just got beat by some uncontrollables. I'm starting to think I'm kind of cursed here. Like, side for Vanquish Soul, play no Vanquish Soul, but then play Lunalights. And then this week I side for Lunalights. Like, I put in the Herald of the Abyss, play no Lunalights, but then I play Mermail, where it's like the breakers don't do anything against that. Like, they can hand loop you, whatever, or Malice, Mistaken Arrest. Like, I lost to like these uncontrollable, like, unfortunate things that happen in game 3. It's like, if I won the die roll in either of those matchups, I probably win the match. But that's Yu-Gi-Oh! You love it, you hate it, but that's how it goes. The Sky Striker curse. But yeah, the deck was really good despite the record. Overall, this format, again, 2 regionals and a YCS, 5-3 at both regionals, and then God, my record, this format has been not bad, but like not quite good enough. It's like one more win at each event would have got me something. Like, if I finish this 6-2 instead of 5-3, I at least end up in the top 24. Same with either the regionals. If I win one more match at the YCS, I top 64 at the YCS. Like, one more win. It's the uncontrollable things happen too. Like, there are gonna be games that you go second and your opponent floodgates you. Sure, that happens. Sometimes your hands are going to be unplayable, sometimes your opponent's going to draw broken. That's 2 losses. The third one's usually on you. And for me, it's that round 5 against Radiant Typhoon where I got that slow play warning. If I had made the correct play then, in that singular chain link, I think the entire tournament goes differently. Or even in the game 1, if I make the Kagari before the Zeke, I'm able to play through the Sheena. But it's a learning experience, like I said, and I hope you guys can learn from my experience as well. This has been a super long, super informal video. I'm gonna try to do these like weekly or every other week at least, just to be able to discuss some topics. I'm gonna put the timestamps down below so you guys can skim through it. Hopefully this isn't too bad of a listen for the people that are just, you know, audio only, not like watching. It's not like there's anything interesting on screen anyways, it's just me fanning through the deck. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, tips, tricks, suggestions, thoughts, anything that's gonna help me moving forward, or anything that's, you know, you want to discuss, let me know down in the comments. Not let me know, let everyone know down in the comment section below, because I do think that these type of discussions can help everybody. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.